me out too. That happened to a lot of you. But it went to Zoom audio for some reason.
Yeah, today I was automatically logged out 3 to 4 times today from the beginning.
Then it didn't disconnect, but it wasn't in this. It said Zoom audio meeting. It wasn't in the. I couldn't see the lines or anything. But anyway, I'm reading on my book because of the English version.
Om Jai Gurudev. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryankaravavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Chaiva Tato Jayamudirayet. Jai Gurudev.
Jai Gurudev. How are you today? We missed you yesterday.
Yeah, no, yesterday I was not able to join. I mean, I had mentioned that I would not be able to share screen. My son was traveling yesterday, so I had to go to the airport.
No problem. We read the whole thing again. The whatever, yeah.
Oh, you read it yesterday? Very good.
But
So today,
but you know what happened? I forgot that I was a host, and then since I was going to read, I logged in from my laptop, and we logged out, and the recording, it didn't happen. And
no, but I already put it on the YouTube, no? So it must have been there on the YouTube.
no, but I logged out as a host, maybe. That's why it didn't get recorded, I believe.
No, but I got a recording on my email.
You got? Because yesterday when I checked, it only halfway through it was recorded.
Oh, let me just check then. I don't know. I'll have to check that out.
But
Yeah, I only joined later.
In a way, it was good. we were repeating the things and whatnot. Nothing was planned, so it was little haphazard. It was.
Yeah, that's okay. We just have to continue the flow.
Yes, that's what did not break the chain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So tomorrow Brahmaraj will begin. What time will it be tomorrow? The timing, will it be the same?
No. For us, it will be the same. For Nana, because California is 1 hour ahead. They, as compared to Phoenix, 1 hour behind, not ahead. So for him, only for him it will be different. Earlier in Phoenix, he would log in at 7 p.m. his time, but now he has to log in at 6 p.m. For us, it will be the same. Our timings don't change.
So we completed Bhagavad Gita nicely.
Yeah.
It was a big, I wanted to clap my hand, but again, of course, it's not the end, but it's just one of those things. It's like a big job, right? I mean, we've been reading this for a while.
Correct.
So
I think each of us can compliment ourselves, each other, for maintaining that commitment, and that dhriti was there, and that devotion, determination was there. As a shishya, as students, we've had that. So that is to be kept up. We have to feel good about it, and as well continue with the same gusto.
yeah, like how Arjuna saying his moha is cleared and he's ready to do attain that that self-realization and one with God. That it is really nice, that same thing they are saying. It will be like whatever we are pursuing will help.
Yeah.
It gives you hope nicely.
Yeah, of course.
Mhm.
See, by your grace, tat prasadat, that is so
Yeah,
important. Krishna says,
where
Nashto
Krishna's.
smritir labdha tvat prasadan mayachyuta stito sudata sandeha tarishye vachanam tava. He says, by your grace, I have my delusion is gone. My
Audio is
recognition.
not, audio is not clear, Barbaraji.
Audio is not clear.
Yeah, today there is some issue with our Zoom meeting.
Let me log in from my, I don't know whether logging in from the phone will be any different, but let me check.
But now you're okay.
Yeah, I think it is swing swong. I don't know. Is that because of the earthquake? Where was the earthquake?
California, the northern part of California, Humboldt County. It was 6.4 last night. And we didn't realize anything here. We are pretty south of that area.
Yeah. Is this better? Any better?
Yeah, you can hear.
I'm using my mobile data so that I don't use the Wi-Fi at home. Let's see whether it's better. So he says, by your grace, my delusion is gone, and I have gained recognition of myself. I remain as one from whom all doubts have gone. I will do what you say. So does this mean that he's become a jnani and he fought the war as a jnani?
That's what it feels like, from this last few slokas that we read. Is that what it is? Like, can you say, by your
Yeah,
grace, delusion is gone. I have gained recognition of myself, which means he realized self, right?
yeah. So which
Achyuta, I
means,
am remain as one whom all doubts have gone. Right. He gained recognition, smriti of himself.
that is knowledge of Atma. How he has gained this knowledge by the grace of Krishna. So he says that he remains as a person from whom all doubts have disappeared. Gata sandehaha. Now he's ready to act according to the words of Krishna. He has no longer any sense of doership and therefore can do what is to be done just because it is to be done. So all this comes to him being a sarva karma sannyasi, right? He's giving up the sense of doership.
Yeah.
So it gives us the implication that implied meaning is that Arjuna actually has become jnana. He was in the jnana nishta,
Right.
and he did only because he had to do it. As a kshatriya,
Yeah.
he had to do it.
Yeah.
Like how King Janaka, although he himself was a Brahmajnani, he attained realization, he continued to rule the kingdom. So he would continue doing what he's supposed to do. Just because he's a jnani, he does not give up his
He didn't give
duties.
up he didn't give up the kingdom and go to yeah. So here this line is clearly that he has no longer any sense of
doership.
Therefore can do what is to be done just because it is to be done.
So the whole Bhagavad Gita Krishna is Arjuna's journey from being an ajnani to becoming a jnani. So we also, as students of Bhagavad Gita, we start off as ajnanis, and in the process of learning and assimilating the Gita Shastra.
Even in the Sanjaya's sloka that he says, by doing this Shastra, like the reading the whole Shastra, this being Upanishad, he gained this jnana, right?
Yeah.
Knowledge.
See, and that is why even Krishna says, no, Krishna himself says, Name partha asti kartavyam trishu lokeshu kinchana. Nana vaptam avaptavyam vartayeva cha karmani. Although I have nothing at all to accomplish in the three worlds, still I am engaged in karma. Similarly, Arjuna has his own prarabdha karma. That is why his prarabdha karma was to fight the war. And his prarabdha karma was to...
Which one you're talking about? The 71?
No, I'm talking of this. You're seeing the screen share, no?
Huh?
Are you able to see the screen share?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I see it.
Yeah. So this one, the second paragraph. Similarly, because he has his prarabdha karma, he should therefore act. If he has gained knowledge, then he does not lose anything by being active. He's merely fulfilling his prarabdha karma. And if he has not gained the knowledge, then he had better do what is to be done as a yoga, because it is better to get destroyed doing your duty than doing something else. Swadharme nidhanam shreyaha paradharmo bhayavaha. Shankara here views Arjuna as one who has gained this knowledge of Atma, not just some freedom from confusion. So Shankara also says that he has become a jnani, and it's not just some release of confusion of dharma and adharma. So that samsara, the cause of samsara is delusion.
Sorry, Dr. Brahmana, I didn't get that. Can you say that again one more time? This Krishna saying he's doing the karma, even though he's doing the karma, that is not...
he says...
that is not affecting him, right? Like he's not a karta, so what do you call that?
Yeah, he is not a karta, he's not a karta, but he says, I have nothing at all to accomplish in the three worlds. Still,
Right.
I'm engaged in karma. Name partha asti kartavyam trishu lokeshu kinchana nana vaptam avaptavyam vartayeva cha karmani.
Okay. For the Arjuna, what did he say? There was another line here.
He says, Swadharme nidhanam shre. See, although he has gained knowledge, since he has gained knowledge, then he does not lose anything by being active.
Right.
Because anyway, there is no kartritva, therefore no bhoktritva. No papa and punya that will accrue to him. Because then he will not get more karma. The karma doesn't bind him anymore.
Right.
But he's merely fulfilling his prarabdha karma. But he's born with that prarabdha karma of being a kshatriya. So he has to fulfill that. He has to complete that. And if he has not gained the knowledge, supposing Arjuna has not gained the knowledge, still he has to continue doing what is to be done as yoga, because swadharme nidhanam shreyaha paradharmo bhayavaha. Even then, whether he's attained knowledge or he's not attained knowledge, fighting he has to do.
Yeah.
Because swadharme nidhanam shreya.
That's his dharma. Okay.
What I really liked and was very profound was that samsara is actually not there. It is only a delusion. Even this that you and I are speaking is actually part of the samsara, isn't it? We are, it is funny. We are in
Mm.
the samsara to get out of samsara.
Yeah, we
So
didn't
once
know
that,
all this before. So that's the samsara is the cycle of birth and death, right? That's
yeah.
yeah. You know, when there was one, I was listening to one of the Upanyasam in the Vishnu Sahasranam, right? Like there was a talk about this. You know, in Tamil, samsara means wife. You know, like samsara means wife. So this one for this they call Upanyasam, right? So this normally the couple not always they go together. Sometimes the lady goes of the house goes, and so this lady was going for the 10 days upanyasam. She was um, she went for 9 days, and then 10th day she got sick. So she told the husband to go because go and listen, this is good. And so he went there, and then he was told, you got to uh, cross the samsara, right? And then this poor lady was sick and having the medicine, I believe, and he did not understand what that samsara meant. He just came and jumping up and up and around.
Across.
Why? Why are you jumping like this? And he said, like, what? No, they told to cross samsara. That's why I'm doing this. Like that, you know, people don't understand the things. That was kind of a joke that Upanyas was, that guy was saying. It was kind of funny that, like that, yeah, cross samsara. I mean, yesterday I was trying to think about this. Who am I? Like we read that again yesterday, right? I was thinking in my head, okay, I'm not Maragatam, I'm not the wife, I'm not the mother, I'm not. I mean, even if you say it, it feels like okay, you are detaching from all these attachments, but it is so real, right? I mean, like we think this is all the life is, like you're not the doctor, you're not this, to getting to letting go those kind of things, right? That we are attached to. It will be. I thought, oh wow, I'm going to say that I'm not, mother, and I'm not the sister, I'm not the daughter. So, which is what is really true, right? I mean,
Yeah.
when it
You're
comes to the atma, like when you say, okay, I kept thinking of, we always say you're not the body mind. That doesn't really, you're not getting anywhere. We have to get rid of their attachment and all these things. But then at the same time, you're detached from these people. And then at the same time, you have to do the karmas you're supposed to do.
These are all like labels, right? Like labels on the eye.
Yeah.
If there is
Like,
a flag.
but then we are kind of saying all the time, right? Oh, I am the doing it. I am the mom, I am this, I am that. Like after reading, I mean, after going through this knowledge, only I'm even able to think like this.
And that is why that's also said, no, Atmanastu kamaya sarvam priyam bhavati. You love your husband, love your children only
Right.
because you are dear to yourself. There is nothing other than you.
Right. You love yourself so that you love everyone around you, right? That's love
You love others
oneself
because
and
you love
others.
yourself.
Love yourself. Yeah. So that is another one need to meditate on now. Yeah, I've been thinking about sending you the voice of the 7th chapter, because I told Nana I'll recite it. So I've been
Yeah.
practicing it. I
No
hope
problem.
I can do it
And-
without any problem.
Yeah. Feel free. Any of
Yeah.
you who wants to chant, and if you want to send your voice notes, you can please send. I'm also a student. I cannot claim I'm perfect in that, but with whatever knowledge I have, I will of course,
Yeah.
we'll see whether we can fine tune it, because Nana is harping on getting the
Yeah.
pronunciation right
Not
now, because we've
having
done
any. Yeah.
correct.
That is why I want to.
Because
I'll
this is
put.
Sakshat Bhagavan Uvacha. So
Yeah.
the more clear we are in our diction, in our pronunciation,
Yeah.
that way the meaning also follows the pronunciation. So the listener also, when he's listening, it will help everyone basically.
Yeah. Hope I can do it. Thank you.
Because Sanskrit is such an exact language. Even one little, dirgha, hrasva or gamaka is a little different. It can change the whole meaning. Yadakshara parabhrashta. That's why we say that last in the end. Because sometimes it can happen. But the idea is to perfect ourselves, to say it better and better.
Yeah.
So tomorrow, before we go ahead, let me know if any one of you is keen to chant chapter 3. Tomorrow, I think we can do, because we're going to spend 1.5 hours doing the chanting, we can cover a lot of chapters, maybe 3, 4, 5, and 6. I think 4, maybe 4 chapters can be covered tomorrow.
Which is easier to chant? Then I can practice that today.
I think everything is easy or hard, depending on your level of comfort.
Okay, let me check. So
I
up
think
to
for first 6 chapters, pretty much, except the second chapter, you have that what is it called? Tribustiti or something. Anushtuchandara, and then there is another one, right? 4 lines. That one is not there in the other chapters. That's the one I feel kind of a little difficult.
so tomorrow we are chanting up to 6th chapter, is it?
I think so, Rinal.
Okay. 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 Let me check which one I could practice and.
Yeah.
Okay.
You all can feel free and send me voice notes once you have chanted. You can chant the whole chapter and send it to me in case there is any correction or something, so that we just fine tune it.
All right. Okay.
So
Hariom
coming
Brahmaraj,
back,
I'll send chapter 1 the voice notes.
Okay.
Dhanyavad. And I would love to chant if there is no one, and any time, Brahmaraj.
Yeah. Okay. Done. So samsara, coming back to samsara, that samsara, thus the delusion that is gone, is that which is born of the ignorance, which is the cause of all samsara. That samsara is very difficult to cross like an ocean. But it is completely gone by the recognition of the self, which is completely free from notions. The self that we experience in deep sleep or in a moment of joy. The self is always self-evident. And thus, the knowledge is only recognition of what is. See, I think sometime back, there was a question, I had only raised the question as to, if we've had this knowledge of the self, we've just forgotten that we are the self. How come we have forgotten it? Or there was that question, I think.
It's just that
there was some thing, shloka in the chapter 18, where it said, you can only desire what you know. You cannot desire, like there was that kuka bukan or something like that, no?
Right, gaga
So,
yeah.
So you cannot desire what you do not know. So that means all of us have some knowledge of the self. We have knowledge of the self. That is why we desire it. But that
True.
we have been deluded. We have been
Because of this veil of ignorance covering it up. I think you remember we talked about, like, when you were in the in the womb, that you think you are going through some problems, that you don't want to have this kind of suffering, and when you want to end this life after this, and then as soon as you come out.
that in the fetus, the fetus actually takes this pratigna that I have been such a fool. I've been all along going like this. The moment I'm born, I will be steadfast on this path. That is what I think the pratigna is taken by the fetus. But the moment the fetus comes out and utters its first cry, it comes out crying. And that's it. There is, I think, that veil. It'll be interesting to know how that happens.
The ignorance comes, or the I think this bondage, this is what they are talking, right? Like when you somewhere I was reading yesterday.
I
Like
think this question we have been asking each
is,
other, right?
Yeah, we have been asking each other.
Asking each other for such a long time.
This event starts with this birth, right? You are born. But then again, for Atma, there is no birth or death. So that's where we have this question again and again comes up, how we connect this.
And that also brings to me the question, I always keep wondering, why do we celebrate birthdays? Of course, one is the normal ways to remember your birthday, and every year you're gaining one more year and all that. That's fine. But why does Gurudev also celebrate birthdays? There has to be some significance.
Actually, after all these things, nowadays I don't want to say anymore happy birthday, but then, like, every WhatsApp message, like in the family, everybody wants to do this. So I'm just putting that Chinmaya Mission song, and then God bless you. That's it.
Right.
So, so it's not like, I mean, again, that birthday celebration is not correct either. Like, you are going by the date. They say you go by the nakshatra or the tithi. That is the correct type of way of celebrating it. Who knows,
But
whatever it is.
on that day, you got a chance to redeem all your karmas and be free, right? You have got a chance.
How?
Because you are already born. You can't do anything about it. But you have a chance to cross this samsara.
Yeah,
right?
then
With knowledge. With the knowledge, I mean, you can become Gyani, right? So that was the day you were born to get the knowledge. Anyway, you had no choice to take birth other than taking birth, but now you got a chance to get out of it.
I see. Okay, that's also good.
And also, I think, to remind ourselves how precious the human life is, no?
Yes.
Yeah.
No? That we should not fritter it away in useless things.
Yeah. I remember we read this yesterday, Mrinal, that you were reading that this event is marked by this, that you are born such and such a date and star. That's how that astrology came, like when you were reading that one yesterday.
Yeah. And as rightly Brahmaraji, you were saying, for a mumukshu or for a Gyani, it doesn't matter, because that time the slate is completely clean. He doesn't have prarabdha, he doesn't have sanchita, nothing. For him, there is, I mean, the chart will be clean slate for him. For him, there is nothing. But until we are on this path, we are eating, we are sleeping, we are doing so many things to make things easier. I mean, we have to go through this, but to make things easier to reach to that goal, I think because this is a part of, I think, Veda, Vedangas, right? Jyotish
Yeah,
and
it's one of the
Ayurvedas.
Jyotish is one
Yeah.
of the Vedangas.
Otherwise, they won't have,
Correct.
got into this
Like
kind of.
Gurudev says, Jyotisha and all these things are like, it is like a, what is that? A Google map.
Yeah. It is there to just to guide you, nothing more than
Yeah.
that. It is not going to change anything, but it is going to channelize you into the right direction. And
But
it
for
is
a Mumukshu,
Mumukshu again,
he
he
already
still
has his direction. He knows his direction, no?
correct.
So he doesn't need a Google road map.
Yes.
This is only for a samsari
Yes.
who is still in the samsara, who is wading through
Absolutely.
samsara. Correct?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because Mumukshu knows what it is, why it is
he,
happening, and he has to. He knows about all the karma laws, everything. That's why he's taken up that path, isn't it?
Correct.
But for samsari, still in grihastha, I think these people would need these aids.
And like Nana very rightly said, see, the Shastra caters to all sections of society, all cadres of people, all cadres of evolution. So we're not all at the same level. So we have different people there are people who are still very materialistic, who are very into achieving things, into karma and artha and kama. They're focused on just that. So the whole Veda, the Shastra, it caters to the whole population.
Yes.
The Veda is for everybody. Right?
For everyone.
Veda is for everybody.
Yeah.
And to bring you on the right path.
On the right path, yeah. So as you keep following the Shastra, wherever start off, wherever rung you are in, whichever step you are in, ultimately you'll come to that thing. Like even if you're doing a lot of karma kanda, there will come a time when you start questioning, who is this Ishvara I am praying to? Who am I? What is this? So all those questions, those self reflective questions start coming up, and that is when you get on to to being a mumukshu.
Yeah. So I was just thinking. Yeah, I was just thinking. Shastras or the Vedas equals art of living. It shows you how to live your life.
Correct.
Or do the karma yoga.
Very right. Very right.
One more question keeps popping in my mind. Like, see, through mind, through Vedas, we come to this. But then, how do we use this mind, which we would know that I only when we go beyond our ego, also, right? So, but how do we do that? It's doesn't seem very easy, isn't it?
That is where Ramana Maharshi says, you keep asking, who is this I who's asking this question?
But it is going to through mind, isn't it?
Through mind only.
Yeah,
it is through the mind only, no?
So how does it beyond our mind? We
are
using
in your mind only.
Yeah,
the
mind
self
only.
it is in your mind, but it's in deeper section of your mind. So that the mind
so
is a
beyond
superficial
beyond
consciousness.
Mind meaning, going beyond mind meaning, I would not be able to even retrieve what I experienced, right? Because again, it is the process which is happening in my mind.
The experience which right, Rinal. So once you reach that place, there is no return. So you cannot come back to your original mind. So
it's a deeper part of the mind. That's what called the deeper consciousness. Yeah. Yeah, like if you read these few lines here where you're reading the samsara part, right?
Yeah.
Here it says the self is always self-evident. And thus the knowledge is the only recognition what is self.
So it seems very simple, but then again,
It's so tricky.
yeah, it is so
See,
simple, right? Oh, it is self-evident. Now we know where self is, and then how you go about it, just you have to negate everything, and
that is
then
where Shraddha is required, no?
yeah,
Mm.
A
and then
deep
we have
Shraddha
to
that
single pointedness. Yeah.
mm,
We might
because of
have to
that
ask
gain,
this. Hmm.
go ahead, go ahead.
No, but please say.
Because of that gain, Shankara says that the recognition, the gain is of the truth of Atma. Because of that gain, one is released from all the knots of the heart in the form of ignorance, desire, and the action that the desire instigates. This reminds me of that beautiful, point that Vijayji posted in the group about difference between
Moksha.
moksha and death.
Mm.
No?
The breath is gone,
Yeah.
is death. Breath and what also desire is gone, then
Mm.
it's moksha. Um, yeah, yesterday I was looking at this sky, that I was remembering this Meha Paye Amshumaniva.
Yeah.
I was thinking about Shankara, oh my God, if this is all he was writing everywhere, he was connecting with everything in nature.
Pramaraji, you said Arjuna must be Gyani by now. But
Yeah.
then later on, he says, no, I forgot this knowledge. Can you please repeat something like that? He says to Krishna, isn't it?
Later, right?
Later, yeah. So was he, uh, di- was he really Gyani when he listened to the knowledge from Krishna? Or
From this 73rd verse, that is what we infer. That is what even Shankaracharya says. It is not just loss of confusion of dharma, adharma. He has actually got the knowledge of, and therefore he becomes a non-doer.
correct.
He drops the doership. But that's a valid question and a valid doubt. We can ask Nana about it, because if Arjuna has actually become a jnani, then there is no way he can become an ajnani again. Isn't it?
Correct.
It's not transitory, it's not transient state.
Arjuna, what I've heard is he has not become a jnani at that stage, because when his son dies, Abhimanyu, you will see him again getting into that rage and saying, I will kill whoever has killed and all that. So as a jnani, you wouldn't probably get into that emotional state, right? So he has understood, yes, but he is still in the process. He's not become a jnani.
He's not a vidvat sannyasi, you mean? He's become a vividisha sannyasi. Not a I can't call him a sannyasi here, but
he's not sannyasi. He probably
correct.
understood that he can do this without hurting himself, like not with that kind of emotion. What he's doing is correct.
Yeah, he got that knowledge that, okay, in that 2 hours or whatever Krishna spoke to Arjuna, he's understood. Now putting it into practice, yeah, maybe the rest of the life is very practiced, and then all 5 brothers, they leave and go, right? Something like that is there. Maybe at that stage he's not become that jnani that he's totally in that state.
Then again,
it's very funny with the way you said, Vijayji, that Gyani. I mean, what percent he became Gyani?
No, it's a constant process of. It can happen even in a fraction of a second, but it can also be a gradual process. Because you have to work on yourself, right? So somebody was asking time back, the mind is the reason for the avidya or the agyan, but it's also the reason for liberation. Mind is what will help you to liberate also. So both is the mind. It's
Manasa evatu kaivalyam. Jnanat evatu kaivalyam, and that is only through the manas. But then the question again comes back. I can I can very well kind of imagine what Nana's answer is going to be if we ask him this question. Nevertheless, we'll ask him. He will say, why are you worried about whether Arjuna became a jnani or not? What are you? What is your goal? Why do you want to unearth what happened to Arjuna and spend all your time figuring out whether he became a jnani or not? Have you become
No,
any
that
percent of jnani with this
no,
knowledge?
I mean, by asking such questions, we make it very obvious
no,
what
that
we
is,
are.
yeah.
Yeah,
Eventually, all questions have to turn into a wonder and not be a question anymore. Okay, yeah, fine. He became, or yeah, it doesn't matter really. Eventually, yeah, that's how. After a while, we'll also feel, yeah, like Ramana Maharshi used to always say, just I don't know those who understand Tamil. He says, "Chummairi," means just stay quiet. Don't have to constantly. This intellect will keep wanting to know a lot of things. Just keep quiet. That's the way to moksha. Keep quiet. Chummairi.
yeah.
In fact, it is said through his silence, he actually gave more knowledge than by words. People would come to him with so many questions, but they would just remain in that in the space of silence. He was a
Yeah,
man of
that's
few
why
words.
people ask, looking at him, why there so thousands of people are, so many people around him. Because he had such a nice vibration around him. And so that made other people to be calm and, peaceful. That is another, like Jnani, like being Jnani, that they spread that vibe, I think, the good vibes. Also, like his teaching is also good. But that is one of the difficult marga that he took.
Your voice is a little heavy.
No,
It's not very clear, Dr. Mara.
that when you talk about Ramana Maharshi, he did this thing they call Jnana Margam. Jnana Margam. I mean, there's if you see the different Sri Ramakrishna, he did through the bhakti. Through bhakti he attained the knowledge. And then this with Ramana Maharshi, that's where it is a little difficult when he's asking like, who am I? That question he keep asking non-yar, like that. It's he's the one taught with the who am I type thing.
While it is so, I don't think there is a mark called Bhakti Marg. He may, of course, Ramakrishna Paramahamsa was a great devotee of Ma Durga and Devi. But then, ultimately, that realization, the last final step, whichever path you choose, is through knowledge. That is what
True,
we've
yeah.
understood all along. No, it is ultimately whether you follow Karma Yoga or Bhakti Yoga, all the Bhakti saints, or Jnana Yoga, anything. Ultimately, the last final step is realization. That is knowledge, only through knowledge.
Yeah, but like, see, the way they go through that, of course, like the dhyanam, like if you look at the whole process, they all went into this samadhi or dhyanam. That's when this knowledge probably dawned on them, like, so I'm sure they read all these other scriptures. I don't know all that, how that they went about. But then again, if you see the different people pursued they went in a kind of different paths. That's what I feel. Like Adi Shankara, he's probably the knowledge path. I mean, but he also had bhakti too. Like if you see, he wrote so many um, poetry about all
Slokas.
this. Yeah, slokas about it. Anyway, yeah, like that's why I will see, like if you see, like even this Kanchi Periyava, like he's a follow. I mean, he came in the same Sankaracharya that after one after another
Tradition.
tradition, right? That they all do this. They have this lingam called Chandramauli. They do the puja, right? They kept doing the puja, and they do the Naivedyam. They followed all that sampradaya. So that's why I wonder, like, um, it is something that part of the Nitya Karma. They kept doing whatever that's supposed to be done. Even we are talking about karma, you don't need to do the karma, the sannyasa part and all that, right?
See, because at the time when Shankaracharya was there, Buddhism was a wave in India.
Mm-hmm.
That point. So he had to bring back the traditions, and therefore he had to revive the whole Vedic wisdom. So there were aspects of karma kanda through the homas and the pujas and all that. So I guess that was the reason why in the revival of Vedic tradition, all this was revived. But although ultimately it is jnana again, and that is what he talks of in all his Shankar in the Bhashya till now that we've understood. It is only through knowledge. Whole of Atma Bodh is like that, no?
True.
The starting,
Yeah.
first two verses. Pakasya vannivadnyanam vina moksho na siddhyati. So without knowledge, you never get. You don't. I mean, it is not possible. Not that you never get, but it's not possible
Even
without knowledge.
Yeah, but there is okay. That is maybe for people like all of us who are more intellectual. For us, knowledge is required. But if you take Ramana Maharshi's story, he was not a learned person or scriptures, nothing. He attained moksha at a very young age, right? At the age of 4 or something, he saw one dead body, and that's it. That triggered in him. So it's more applicable for people who are intellectuals, and most of us probably are. So for us, knowledge is the way. But it's not necessary universally that knowledge is the only way.
Yeah, but
Ramana
what is
Maharshi didn't have
knowledge?
any
The
knowledge of the
knowledge
self.
is,
Knowledge of the
yeah.
self. Actually,
So
it
he
is
must
not
be already having, I mean, you don't need to read so many books. You don't have to
correct.
read
Correct. That's
Vedas,
what.
and
So
but
the
he
knowledge.
must be having that knowledge already, right?
Yeah. That knowledge. That's what I'm saying. For him, that knowledge came by seeing that dead body, right? That knowledge triggered in him. Okay, he was probably already a very evolved soul when he took that birth as Ramana Maharshi in wherever that he was born. But what triggered is seeing that dead body. He went into that state of understanding what that dead body is, and then he got realized. And then he went, he heard the word Arunachala and something triggered in him. And then he went in search of that mountain. And that's how he landed up there. So for him, it was not this formal knowledge that as we think knowledge. Knowledge is knowledge of the self. For that, you don't have to read scriptures or listen to even all lectures. Yes, intellectual like us, we have to go through this route of.
But we've learned that it is through pramana only, right? Veda is the pramana. So, yeah, like Mrinal said, he was people like Ramana Maharshi, people like Gurudev, it is through their maybe the previous births, they have done so much, and like Gurudev and all, they're just like avatars of the divine. But I think for the rest of us who like Ramana Maharshi, I'm not sure what Ramana Maharshi was in his previous birth. It's all a question again to wonder. What the point I'm coming to is the point that knowledge ultimately is required. That recognition is knowledge, no?
Yeah, but
so whether
it
you use
isn't.
pramana or it is because of your previous janmas sadhana that you've done, that you've reached a certain state of evolution, where just that some trigger is required for you to get that realization.
Yeah, but
Ultimately, it is not a karma that happens. It is only through jnana.
Yeah, but that jnana or that knowledge is the knowledge of the self, right? Knowledge of the self. Now, for getting the knowledge of the self, yes, we can read maybe the whole Vedas also, and everything will say the same thing. You are the self, right? That's the knowledge. Ultimately, realizing that is the step. For
Correct.
that, you can keep reading hundreds of books and still be in the intellectual plane only and doing the intellectual comprehension. But realizing that I am the self, really feeling that is where the next level happens, right?
That is where they say, no, to gain, you have to lose. So that is, see, it's not gaining knowledge so much of knowledge. No, ultimately to gain that realization, if it's not the right word to say, but in order to gain, you have to lose. You have to lose your identity, drop all of that. And then it happens.
Then it happens.
Hariom, it can be that unknown factor, Daiva also, right?
Yeah, grace finally is required because otherwise losing or dropping the identity is not easy, right? Our ahankars, that's the tough nut to crack. So that will keep.
That is where bhakti is so important, no?
Yeah.
Bhakti therefore becomes such an integral part where you surrender to a higher power. You call it whatever, Ishvara, Krishna, anything, any name.
Or even people like, okay, bhakti to a divine is one thing, but even having that sense of devotion to everything around in the creation. You are able to talk, you are able to listen. All this is some divine power, right? Otherwise, just imagine there are people who can't see, can't hear. So many things are there. So if we are able to see that divinity in everything around us, that is enough. That also will take us out from.
Yeah. Being eternally in a state of gratitude.
Gratitude, yes. And seeing that everything is like, oh my God, what's this? How does a tree, from a seed sprouting of everything, if we are able to look and wonder and see, oh, this is all Ishvara's thing, then also it becomes very liberating.
Yeah, Vismayo Yoga Bhumika. It's like the Vignan Bhairav that gives so many ways in which you can, get to that state. How many ways that Shiva tells Parvati? 108 ways, is it? In Vignan Bhairav?
Yeah.
112.
112 ways. So there is actually it is there, it is seeking, it is like beseeching us. Listen, I'm here. It is like, it's just that we have to open our Jnana Chakshu, that Divya Chakshu, and see the truth.
I had that question, when we're talking about, when Vedavyasa, that he want to give that, what do you call it?
Divya Chakshu.
Divya Sakshu. Yeah, Divya Sakshu. At the time of the war, what happened to him? Like when he was born with a, blind, that time he couldn't have it.
He gave it to Sanjaya. Sanjaya was
because he didn't wanted it. He wanted to give it to the Drashta first. The Drashta said, I've been blind all my life now. I don't want to see this. Maybe Sanjaya can have it because he can tell you. So then he gave it to Sanjaya. So initially he was going to give it to him. Even that when Krishna came to that Sabha, right? And he was asking as a, what do you call that?
To negotiate.
To negotiate for Pandava. Krishna Bhagavan gives that this Divya Chakshu or Jnana Drishti for him to see him in Vishwarupa. So Dhritarashtra knows Vishwarupa Krishna that time, that in what happened in the Sapa. So that was like amazing. For Sanjay must be fortunate to have all that.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
maybe Dhritarashtra was ignorant and he opted to remain ignorant, isn't it?
So actually, he was so much deluded by the moha of his children. No, that is why in the innermost of his own existence, he knew that uh, his thinking and line of action of his children is wrong, and that is why he was trying to kind of escape and let Sanjay see and narrate it. And because see, when in the inner this thing, we know sometimes that this is so inner voice is telling us that this thing which you are thinking or doing is wrong, but still we are so much deluded with some attachment or some kind of vasanas that we still go ahead with that doing. Something of that sort Dhritarashtra must be facing. And that's why in the inner core he knew that Pandavas are going to win because they are standing with the truth. Maybe we need to ponder over this.
Even though this the Drashtra is according to the, when you read about him, he is very knowledgeable. He known all the Shastra and everything. Yet um, he was having so much desire for himself to be king. So he was more like materialistic. He didn't give a thought about how Pandu and this his brothers like Vidura and Pandu supporting him, and then he didn't even think about their kids or his brothers, what happened to them. He was only thinking about himself. And then when he thought he's not getting this kingdom once the Pandu comes back from Dikvijaya, he got so mad and he made so much thing everybody got afraid of him. And then Pandu decided, okay, let me go to the forest. So that's how it happened. Like, so that same thing happened with Duryodhana. He didn't want nothing to be given to Pandavas. He was throwing fits. It's exactly like his father. So that's how he says, oh, I understand what Duryodhana feels. So he kept on giving him all these things he's supposed to not to do it. Because you remember Nana kept that this gave the Mahabharata history beforehand. So I wanted to read about it a little bit more. So that's how I kind of come about knowing some story.
Yeah. No, it's very important for us to relate to and read the Mahabharata eventually. Not just stay with this,
Like
because
say,
in the tapestry of the stories, there's so many subtle aspects of dharma that come up in how people deal with each other, in the relationships, in the decisions made. So that will clarify little by little. It will remove the cobwebs in our own mind.
yeah,
So it
exactly.
will also aid. Yeah.
Every character in that in Mahabharata, it's definitely a life lesson. Like if you see Dronacharya, and I really like the whole story. It's really nice. If you could, I mean, I
And
watched.
more,
Yeah.
more than it being a story there, maybe deep down in our own consciousness, we might relate to maybe Dronacharya, maybe Duryodhana, maybe Dhritarashtra in some dealings that we
Yeah.
have. It's a reflection.
You're
It's like a
you,
mirror, like
right.
it was said earlier, Veda is like a mirror of words. So similarly, I think these stories are also like a mirror where they mirror yourself and you're able to clean up your own in Antakarna.
Definitely, that's what this raga dvesha, right? Because
Mm.
when we read about all this neutralized raga dvesha, right? Like for the very first thing when we read the Atmabodh, so this guy having so much of this, first of all, desire to have the kingdom. Second thing, he hates Pandavas. So both of them there. So how he is going to get rid of it? Unless he get rid of that, he's not going to uh, be that maker. He's
Mm.
not going in that spot. So like that, we ourselves think about. We shouldn't like long for all this. Uh, say you being a person, so you are not going to fight for your own wealth, among your siblings and things like that, so it gives you that kind of knowledge, like, okay, we are not going to do this, we're going to give it away, we have enough. So that kind of mentality kind of comes also, like, we are not
At
materialistic.
the same time, Dr. Mara, I
Yeah.
don't think we should kind of be dispassionate to the point of becoming a recluse. No, I think the world is there for us to enjoy and to relish and to celebrate.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
being dispassionate, being passionately dispassionate, I think that is the thing. You have to there's nothing wrong in acquiring wealth. That is what it was said
No,
in the
we
introduction to Gita. See, if
right.
you keep dharma as a forefront, moksha as your forefront, there is nothing wrong in acquiring kama and artha. The problem
True.
comes if you
Right.
relegate these two to the side and only follow artha kama. So you can of course have money, you can of course have, and if there is some ancestral property, I think you should be practical over there rather than
We do, but what I'm saying is people go overboard with it, like they
right.
fight
That you
for.
should be that you
Yeah,
should be
that's what
aware of.
I'm saying, like,
Correct.
yeah, so you don't
Correct.
want to unnecessarily what doesn't belong to you. You
Right.
shouldn't be you shouldn't be longing for it, that's
Mm,
what I'm saying, like, it's not.
correct.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's.
because the courts are
Mhm.
the Kurukshetras in India.
Mm. Kurukshetra, actually, courts are Kurukshetras. Kurukshetra actually is in our own mind.
Yeah.
Main primary Kurukshetra is in the mind. All that happens outside of us is the secondary Kurukshetras.
Yeah.
The war begins in our mind.
Right. But this is very, very basic question. I keep thinking about it. See, though Pandavas were, they were not actually Pandu's children, right? They were Kunti's and some Devata's children. They had
Mm.
nothing to do with Kuruvamsha. So how could they claim saying that they are Pandu's children? They become the step brothers also, but
Yeah.
they are not from that lineage at all. If you think from the point, from this point.
Mm.
The same way
Is it?
that you can say that Duryodhana, I mean, the Drashta, that what was her name, Gandhari, she
Mm.
actually hit herself with this, I don't know what you call about ulakkai. Ulakkai is like,
Mm.
the one big like rod kind of thing. They pound the rice in the old
Yeah,
days.
yeah, yeah.
That's called, I don't know what it's called. Not tandulam. I don't know. Anyway, that with that, she what happens is she gets the news that the Pandavas, the Kundi had the baby already. Dharma is born, so he get the news that the Kundi had a child. Then the Drasha says to Gandhari, "How come you're not having the baby? They already had that thing." So she gets so upset with it, and then she goes and hits herself with the in her tummy that with that olaka, and then the whole thing comes out, and that's when, oh, what did you do? Then the Veda Vyasa, he takes that that flesh. Okay, let me help you. Then he puts in 100 different pots that thing, and then that the baby grows in that.
The first test tube babies, first documented test tube babies.
Exactly. Ecto life, right? So
Yeah.
so that now they have similar kind of thing that they're doing in vitro life. So but so you won't believe, I mean, all these stories, right? Like where the Vesa, how was he born? It's all like this immaculate conception type of thing, so if you kind of look into those kind of you are looking for answers, it would be kind of a little bit difficult. But it was with the consent of Pandu that Kundi Devi, because he couldn't have relationship which is going to cause his death, so he agrees to Kunti to use this mantra given by the Durvasa Muni,
Durvasa.
that then she does, she would ask him which god to invoke. Then they say dharma, like that.
It
They
is
pick
much
and
like
choose.
surrogacy, right? It is like surrogacy.
Right.
It is surrogacy, actually. Although
But
she
she is
gave birth.
married to Pandu. In that
Mm.
case, if she's going to have the baby, then it's going to be Pandu, right? I mean, it's still Kunti is married to Pandu. It's that they are only kind of giving their blessing. I don't know how that works, but then that's how it is. Like even Karna, how is he born? Like she just thinks about Surya and do that mantra japa, and he get the baby.
But Mrinal, the wife takes, in our Hindu tradition, the wife takes the surname of the husband. So Kunti, once she's married to Pandu, becomes part of the Kuru dynasty.
Correct.
Isn't it? So that way, Pandavas are all, they belong to the Kuru Vamsha. That way. And even so, I know we're far exceeding time. We'll just wind up. So this Krishna also, he was born to Vasudeva and Devaki. He's still called Yadava. He was adopted by, he was brought up by Yashoda and Nanda.
Yeah.
So that way, I think
that is probably why. I mean, we can say it's not like, I mean, he was so happy, and then then she gives one mantra to the Madhuri, and then she does the two twins, right? So then after
Nakul
that,
Sahadeo.
she doesn't want to not want to give any more mantra to her, because she wouldn't, she was thinking, oh, how is she going to do it, whatever. Then she goes and Pandu have relationship, then he dies the minute they have relationship. That's how, that whole thing, he dies so quickly.
And I think there is a story behind Dhritarashtra and Pandu's and Vidura's story also, right? It is through Vasarishi, right? They were born, something like that.
Yeah, right. Vyasa Rishi, right. But then they call it as when you say Guru dynasty, that means that Vichitra Virya is supposed to be the father, but he dies before this happened. Otherwise, they would not have this whole thing. It's really you have to see how this whole thing pans out.
the web weaves out.
Yeah.
It is quite intriguing and revealing at the same time.
It is, how this women play a big role, that Satyavati, trying to keep the whole that Hastinapura thing, in her hand. She didn't want to let it go.
Yeah. Nice.
Anyway, thank you so
Interesting. So
much.
today we drifted a lot into Mahabharata. So I guess it's time we all open our PDFs and start making our beginning. I actually
Right.
told myself I'm going to, I told my son also, reading is a good habit. So I told him I'm going to start reading a book at least 10 to 20 pages before sleeping in the night.
Yeah,
That's only
I'm reading in Tamil. I read like about 40 pages. Oh, it's nice, you know.
So
There
that is
and
only a
through there.
statement yet. I've not put it into practice. Hopefully I will start soon. I will
Yeah.
make it into a practice, and maybe I would start maybe with Mahabharata. I would be keen to read Mahabharata.
I know, it's really interesting.
It will be very useful to others if you read it aloud and record it.
Oh.
No,
Because
it's like 3,000
we have
pages,
become now
man.
so very
You can't.
dependent on you.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. Chalo. So we'll wind up today. We still have quite a lot to cover. We'll do this tomorrow, maybe after tomorrow's Gita chanting. We'll come back to this purpose of study of Shastra is to remove delusion. We just summarize and go through all the up until 78th shloka, and then we have to restart our take up our chapter 3 from where we left it.
Hariom Brahmaraj.
Yes,
Sorry.
yes, Bela.
Could you please share the email for Mahabharata PDF if you have?
I already sent once before. I will resend it if you have not. I've sent it long back.
Yeah.
I will send it again.
And if possible, of course, whenever we needed, you have been sending. But the 7 to 18 chapters PDF you have sent in before.
I think Vijayji has mailed it, to everyone.
1 to 7 he has mailed it. But
7 to 18 is not there.
8 to 18, yeah, fine. It is not in the email. It is might be there in the WhatsApp. Yeah.
Okay. I will see.
If
I'm not able to send it by email, I'll send it in the group and request Vijayji to send it.
Dr. Brahmara, isn't it the same thing as what we read? Like each chapter by itself? Like, is that the same thing?
Not really. It is almost the same, but I think the summary he has kind of brought in the whole thing in perspective. It is like that. What is that? Simha Valochan, I think, right? So after every Shataka, you stand back and like how the lion takes a look at the entire jungle. It's like you're taking a bird's eye view of the whole thing. So similarly, I think that is the summary that is being given.
Oh, for whole 18 chapters?
It's split up. 1 to 7 is one, then 8 to 18 is another.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. Okay. Om Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Tat Sat Shri Krishna Arpanamastu. Jai Gurudev. Hari Om.
Dhanyavad.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.